Not to Counterfeit Being Sick by Michel de Montaigne. There is an epigram in Michel of very good sense, for he has of all sorts, where he pleasantly tells the story of Caelius, who, to avoid making his court to some great men of Rome to wait their rising and to attend them abroad, pretended to have the gout, and the better to color this pretense, anointed his legs and had them wrapped up in a great many clouts and swathings, and perfectly counterfeited both the gesture and countenance of a gouty person, till in the end fortune did him the kindness to make him gouty indeed. So much has counterfeiting brought about, Caelius has ceased to counterfeit the gout. I think I have read somewhere in Appian a story like this, of one who, to escape the proscriptions of the triumvirs of Rome, and the better to be concealed from the discovery of those who pursued him, having shaded himself in a disguise, would yet add this invention, to counterfeit having but one eye. But when he came to have a little more liberty, and went to take off the plaster he had a great while worn over his eye, he found he had totally lost the sight of it indeed, and that it was absolutely gone. 'Tis possible that the action of sight was dulled for having been so long without exercise, and that the optic power was wholly retired into the other eye. For we evidently perceive that the eye we keep shut sends some part of its virtue to its fellow, so that the remaining eye will swell and grow bigger. As also idleness with the heat of ligatures and plasters might very well have brought some gouty humour upon this dissembler in Michel. Reading in Froissart the vow of a troop of young English gallants to carry their left eyes bound up till they were arrived in France and had performed some notable exploit upon us, I have oft been tickled with the conceit of its befalling them as it did the before-named Roman, and that they had returned with but an eye apiece to their mistresses, for whose sakes they had entered into this vow. Mothers have reason to rebuke their children when they counterfeit having but one eye, squinting, lameness, or any other personal defect. For besides that their bodies being then so tender may be subject to take an ill bent, fortune, I know not how, sometimes seems to take a delight to take us at our word. And I have heard several examples related of people who have become really sick by only feigning to be so. I have always used, whether on horseback or on foot, to carry a stick in my hand, and so as to effect doing it with a grace. Many have threatened that this trick would one day be turned into necessity, that is, that I should be the first of my family that should have the gout. But let us a little lengthen this chapter and vary it with a piece of another color concerning blindness. Pliny reports of one that once dreaming he was blind, found himself in the morning so indeed, without any preceding infirmity in his eyes. The force of imagination might assist in this case, as I have said elsewhere, and Pliny seems to be of the same opinion. But it is more likely that the motions which the body felt within, of which physicians, if they please, may find out the cause, which took away his sight, were the occasion of his dream.